Hi all, welcome to the UCL Marquee Matchups predictions for the 22nd of October. This is match day 3. As you can tell, my voice is feeling a lot better. Joys of a good night's sleep and plenty of fluids to kind of get the mouth going back in action. So good smash likes would be awesome. Sub to the channel if you're new. Follow me on Twitter at @GIsALegend. All the links are down below for playlists on the channel and social media links as always. And hit that notification bell so you know when uploads are up on the channel, would be massively appreciated. So how we've decided to operate this is we've decided to build one squad and break down every single game that could feature and then explain all the kind of worthwhile players to kind of go at and kind of who I had in my club with these kind of teams. So from top to bottom that I've got on my list, like the starting 11 I would say that is the more likelier game. So like Juventus, Lokomotiv Moscow is a strong shout, mainly because or Piemonte Calcio. It'd be interesting to see if they do go for it, but from a Juventus perspective, you would look at highest Buffon. Now Buffon's 83, but he's fairly cheap. He's like 1.5, 1.8k. If depending what the requirements were, someone if it was say an 80 or 81 rated squad, Buffon helps because he's quite high rated, and you can because a lot of people will over invest in players like Rugani, De Siglio, Bentancur. Now Juventus is heavily featured already in the SBCs, like the strong start for example, and Juventus players went through the roof. So my feeling is they might not necessarily jump on that game right away. They might leave that for like another match day if anything. And in Lokomotiv Moscow's case, you've got like Farfan, João Mario, are your more consistent shouts that you will look for. Then you've got Manchester City, Atalanta. I quite fancy this really. Atalanta have quite a few options. You can look at Kjaer, Malinovsky, then Zapata. You could go for Gusens. There's Kastang, the right mid. You can look at him as well. Haterboer, he's another good strong shout. In Man City's case, Otamendi is your highest rate that you would consider. Then you'd obviously go at like Bravos, Zinchenko, Angelino, the left back, the Spanish left back. I've hopefully not massacred his name, but those type of players that you would look at, the lower rated in Man City's case, but the ones that are like non-rares and even rares, but the ones that are cheap. You're not going to go and spend like 2,000 coins on a card that's not really going to go up. That's kind of what I'm trying to hit. So Man City, Atalanta would be another good strong shout. Chelsea and Ajax is another very wily option. I think that for me is my second strong shout that I would go for. Like Premier League, I would say one of the options will happen. Where they go, Man City, Atalanta, or Ajax, Chelsea, I'm not sure. But in Chelsea's case, you've got Loftus-Cheek, Barkley, Emerson, Caballero, Tammy Abraham. You've got Pedro even at worst. So you've got who else? You've got like Christensen. So you've got plenty to work with from a Chelsea perspective. Ajax is like Daley Blind, Anana, Labiad. There's tons of like these low rated golds, but you don't want to be going like Nereses or Ziyech or Tadic. They're kind of pointless for this. Like Tadic, you'd only really go for if it's like an 80 or 81 rated squad, 81, 82 even, and it's needing it. But I highly doubt it, so hopefully that kind of sorts you there. Galatasaray, Real Madrid is another strong shout. I was hoping to have fit room for Feghouli, but I've done it a bit different. But in Real Madrid's case, you've got Rodrigo, you've got Valverde. Not really Nacho Fernandez, but you could go for him if you really wanted to. Then from a Galatasaray view, it's like Feghouli, Donk, Lalit. Not Alex, that's Besiktas, sorry. But Feghouli, Donk, these type of players, you'd be well and truly sorted. So Galatasaray, Real Madrid keeps you ticking over. Then Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen. Now Atletico Madrid, everyone will go like Arias, Trippier, Hermoso, Adan, the more regular players that you will commonly see. From a Bayer Leverkusen view, you've got the two Bender brothers, Retsos. Not really looking at like Havertz or like Bellarabi, but Bender brothers will be the most common. Ozcan's another that you would kind of look at as well. So Atletico, Bayern to keep, but Bayer Leverkusen to keep your mind on. Shakhtar, Donetsk, Dinamo Zagreb could sneak in, but I'm not overly sure if it. Probably go elsewhere. But from a Dinamo Zagreb view, you've got Dani Olmo, Ademi, Livakovic. They're like your goals. From a Shakhtar view, you've got Kritsov. You've got. You wouldn't really go Konoplyanka because like 1.52k, but you would look at like Junior Marias. You'd maybe look at Marlos because he's 700, like usually quite low. You can snipe him, bid him quite readily at like 700-800 coins. So it's one to at least keep an eye on at worst. Then other games that could sneak in: Club Brugge and PSG. You've got like Balanta, Choupo-Moting, Sergio Rico, Diatta from Club Brugge as well. So there's plenty. The thing with Club Brugge, they've got a lot of rares that you can work with if a rare requirement was to happen. In a PSG view, you would look at the non-rares within the team. So, as I say, Choupo-Moting, Sergio Rico. You could even look at Kerr and Diallo. Lille and their respective opponents of Valencia, you could look. Funnily enough, I haven't even put a Valencia player in. That's how well I've done this. But from a Valencia view, Gamero will be very common that you will probably see happen. Garay is a bit high rated, but some people will put him in. Leo views, Yaziki, Louis Arujo, Jose Font, Magnan, those type of players. Napoli, Red Bull, Salzburg, Minamino, Junucevic, Andre Ramallo. From an Napoli view, Maksimovic, not really Malkub, so I'd keep away from him, but Carnices, Mere, those type of players that you would kind of, as I said, the lower end, but ones that can work. You could go Zielinski, but he's quite high rate. He's a bit higher rated to work with, so you try and shy away from him. Liverpool and Genk. With Genk's view, you've got Ito and Berg, most quite common, but there's a lot of like decent 75 to 70 gold within Genk. You can look at like Lokimi as well from the Colombian centre back. Liverpool, Lallana, Origi, Adrian, those type of players that would keep you ticking over. And then Benfica, Lyon, you would look at players like Traore, Cornet. Benfica wise is like Ruben Diaz, the centre back. You can also look at Gabriel, the centre mid, the Brazilian, because looking at how it worked from the last time, Inter Milan, Dortmund shouldn't happen, Slavia Prague versus Barcelona shouldn't happen. The only games that cannot happen are Tottenham and Red Bull Salzburg and Leipzig and Zenit. So you've got about 12 games and Olympiacos Bayern. I knew there was a few that you can't really work with, but all of the games will be respectively in the description, as always, with my like respective like what games are right over others. But there's tons of like early investment. Like for me, the safest ones I would be going for are Manchester City, Atalanta. I'd go Galatasaray, Real Madrid. I would say personally focus on like 2 games from each game night. That's the easiest way to go about it. So Man City versus Atalanta and Galatasaray, Real Madrid on a Tuesday night. My Wednesday night games that I really would focus on would be Ajax, Chelsea, Lille, Valencia, and then if I was to throw in anything else, I would probably say Benfica, Lyon, because it's quite a nice curveball to throw in. Like Genk, Liverpool could happen, or like something like Atletico Madrid versus Bayer Leverkusen, but I feel they'll go kind of other elsewhere with it. But I'm hoping with how I've kind of broke this all down that each like individual players like from respective teams, like that's why I've thrown like higher rated players for some teams and lower. It's just to give you as much variety and idea of like what's like there to work with at an extreme, but also at an easiest. It's all the reason why I say always the golds is because we usually assume they will make it an exactly. It's either an exactly gold or they'll put the requirement where it is just a rated squad, and usually your silvers are a little bit harder to work with. But I'm hoping you find that useful, as I said, folks. So obviously this squad would never ever work because it's 79 rated and 50 chem, but that's because obviously we've tried to feature every individual player, like every individual player across all the potential games that could feature. So let me know, folks, in the comments below if that made sense for you, and as I said, all the information will be down in the description as always, with all the likelihoods of the games. So smash the likes as always, sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter at G is a legend, comment down below the games that you think might happen, and I'll catch you all later.